Our business slowed down, not because we needed more leads, not because the market had changed, but because we stopped doing the things that built our business in the first place. Let's talk about it.
Hey, I'm Shay Toya. I've spent more than 10 years in construction, working behind the scenes in marketing, hiring, and I've seen how overwhelming it can be to grow a business. That's how we've learned to build a sustainable business using clear systems, strong communication, and intentional recruiting. If you're ready for better hiring, smarter remarketing, and a business that doesn't fall apart when you step away, welcome to Building Better Contractor Businesses.
So before we jump into this episode, if you are not already part of our Facebook group, Building Better Contractor Businesses, I'd love for you to join us. It's a place where contractors can ask more questions, share what's working, what's not working, learn from other business owners who are also trying to build a better, predictable, profitable business. You will find the link in the show notes. Let's get into this. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. The last few months have been super stressful. 2026, to be completely honest with you guys, I could just throw the entire year away, but I'm not giving up as of yet. So the business slowed down. Projects have been taking a lot longer to close, and it just felt like we were working a lot harder, but not seeing the same results. So like most contractors, you start asking yourself more questions as of, do you need more leads? Do I need more marketing? What am I missing? See, interesting part of all of this is that Kevin and I felt like we solved all of these problems. We thought we're past this. And I think that's where it started. So in 2025, Kevin and I read the book, Buy Back Your Time, which is a great book. We were trying to delegate more. We had weekly meetings. We thought the importance so much of a delegation. We put people in place, but we really looked at things. We realized some of our standards had slipped. And the crazy thing is right before all of this happened, I had just did an episode on standards, and I thought we had high standards. But because we were so focused on delegation, so focused on, having pride into things were starting to slip. This happened over time. And I think that a lot of businesses, this happens to. A lot of us, we read these books, I talk a lot about the books, E-Myth, and they all talk about working in your business or working on your business instead of in it. And so we were so focused on delegation, so focused on making sure that Kevin and I were delegating, and we only focused on one thing. But the problem with that is that we didn't create the right systems into place before we were able to walk away. And so sometimes things that helped you build a businesses, those are the things that stop happening. And once we realized what was going on, we decided to go back to the basics. Kevin went back to estimating. And I would say this is not forever. I went back to a lot of different things, but we needed to make sure that every lead that comes through that door, every opportunity is handled in a way that we wanted. We also hired a project coordinator, Amnesty, which was her job is to help us manage our current projects with follow-ups on past projects. She may manage current projects by making sure that our technicians are submitting their dailies each day. If our technicians or project managers post, oh, so-and-so happened, Amnesty, that gives Amnesty a plenty of time to make sure things are fixed. She also focuses on following up on past projects. And then also we have her run something called the Dream 100. And then if you've never heard of the Dream 100, it's a list of companies that we want to build relationships with. That includes general contractors, IT professionals, electricians, property management companies. So instead of waiting for the phone to ring, we're reaching out to our, what I would call a power partner, like electricians, IT professionals, IT companies, property management companies, general contractors. They're going to use us on a consistent basis. And so instead of just waiting for the phone to ring, this is a lot of times who hires us. So my first lesson for you guys is to go back to the basics. Before you start spending money on marketing, you need to ask yourself a few questions. How fast are estimates going out? Are leads being followed up with? I'm going to be very honest with you guys. Before Amnesty came through the door, I would probably say that I followed up with people here and there when I remember to follow up with people. But did it happen on a consistent basis? No. Have your standards slipped? Guys, we were so focused on buy back your time and making sure that we were delegating and making sure that our team was doing what they were supposed to do that our standards started to slip. And so for us, that was a yes. So looking back at 2025 and the start of 2026, it all seemed like it all went down very quickly. At first it was finding out our senior estimator wasn't doing the things that he was supposed to be doing. And then a few weeks later, it was finding out our admin wasn't doing the things that she was supposed to be doing. But as leaders, it's our fault because our standards had slipped. And sometimes it had nothing to do with leads coming in. There was a situation that occurred after, unfortunately, we had to let go our estimator, and I'm reviewing his emails. The customer literally said, so-and-so, I don't do this. Reach out to so-and-so. So instead of saying, okay, thank you, I will reach out to so-and-so, of course, say it differently. He said he just copied and pasted a message to that customer of things he needed. And I'm like, person, why did you do that? And then their response was, I don't do that. I was like, person, you're not listening. So that being said, to me, that was a training issue. To me, that was a standard issue. So the next lesson I will share with you of the way that we got our business back on track was the Dream 100. Focusing on the Dream 100, which the Dream 100 is companies you want to work with, 100. So 100 companies that you want to work with. And so in a 12-week period, week 1 is a phone call, week 2 is an email, and week 3 is a gift drop off. So the outcome of your first reach out might be different. So with the general contractors, our goal is to get on the vendors list. And I'll be very honest with you, it's not really a 12-week period. It becomes more of phases. So 12 phases, because if we're focused on 4 of those reach outs, each system, each general contractors, their goal is for us to become on their vendors list. There's nothing we can do or nothing that they can do for us until we get on their vendors list. So making sure that we fill out the documents that they're asking for, making sure that things that when we fill it out, everything is right. And so we just continue as we get onto their contractors list, we just continue building that relationship. And so one thing that I really did start recognizing with Amnesty was how fast 3 weeks, guys, 3 weeks, how fast she built relationships. Walking into the door with her for week 3, I did the gift drop offs with Amnesty. And Amnesty, it was like, hey, we would walk into the door, they'd be like, hey, Amnesty, good to see you. And some of the people that we walked into the door, and also I would say that week 3, when you do the gift drop offs, we are not having it where we're not letting them know that we're showing up. We're just showing up. But because, we've already constantly reached out to them for at least 3 weeks period, they feel like they know us. So when we walk through the door, they're like, hey, Amnesty, how are you doing? And then a lot of times people were busy. Some invited us in to sit down. Some only had a minute and they were like, hey, I wouldn't say, as I said, that it's not perfect, and some people, maybe they weren't, but the majority of people that we walked into were happy to see us. We're happy that we were there, invited us to sit down. They're like, come over here and sit down. Do you want some water? But that wouldn't have been capable, that would have been available if we just cold called them or stopped by. But because we did the things that were necessary to get to that point for the first 3 weeks, some of them did come with opportunities, the first contacts, which is awesome. And as I said, the end goal is not to sell them, it's to build that relationship, because you build that relationship, one sale is awesome. But if you have a power partner, that can be when the partner relationship is going back and forth, you both are able to help each other. It's even better. So I just think that it just shows you, like, when we walked in through the door, they knew who we were. And then also the power of consistency. A lot of times contractors quit before they even remember their name. So the next step is to stay consistent. A lot of contractors only market, only do personal reach out when they are slow. And this is a huge mistake that a lot of contractors make. And guess what, guys? I've been there. Kevin's been there. If you've been in the contracting world, if you've been in sales, you've been there. When you do that, it's like you're starting over. What the biggest thing that I could also say is that people leave organizations. And when they leave organizations, what happens is that when you reconnect with them, that the organization no longer knows who you are. So it's like you're starting to have to by the way, I'm Shatoya with KB Communications. And so it's like the connection that I had in the past is no longer there. And so it's a restart. And that sucks. It sucks a lot, but I've been there so many times. I've had a relationship with someone else. They leave, and now I have to start the relationship over. So it can be a really, it's like a start over. And that's what I felt like going into 2026, what it was for us. It was a start over, even after doing this for 12 years. So the number one thing right now is our focus is no matter what. That's why it was so important that we pulled in our project coordinator. She is going to continue doing the Dream 100. We're not stopping. We're actually just adding to it. We're going to continue those relationships. This just happened last couple weeks ago. I met this lady, Henderson Chamber, and she was really great. She was in business development. She was working at this general contractor. We were working on a relationship with her. We did a stop by. Guess what? She quit within weeks. So it's like people leave. So for that reason, it's just very important that you continue developing that relationship with that organization. Not that you just got that relationship with that one person. Because as I said, that person that I had that relationship, I met at the chamber. She was gone within 3 weeks. So it's just important that we stay consistent because lead generation is something you do no matter what, even when you're slow and when you're busy. And the most important thing is for you to understand, even when you are busy, you are marketing yourself. You're getting more work. Because that project, we were talking to a contractor. So we've been talking to a lot of contractors lately. They were telling us that they have so much work, and maybe you're also feeling it right now with everything going on and around the world. But they have so much work. Their work is scheduled years in advance. So they're not currently feeling with the market that we're currently feeling. And I was like, that's such a blessing. I would say, that was us 2 years ago. We got work and we were great. We had work 2 years ago that lasted us for 2 years. That project ended. We were on that project for 2 years. Now that project helped feed everything else. But just the importance to understand that one project, yes, it could feed the rest of them. But if you're not consistently growing, consistently networking, once that project is over with, now you're screwed. So if you are slow right now, I personally want to have you make a list of 25 companies that you would like to work with. Create a simple game plan. It does not have to be the Dream 100, but figure out the most important thing, guys. Like anything that you do should be long. It should be consistent. It should be that you're in it for the long game. You're not just going to do it for a month, 2 months. You're going to do it for 5 years, 10 years. You're going to do it for a very long time. And that when you're not able to do it anymore, now you got someone else to do it. So create a game plan. If it's calling them, if it's emailing them, stopping by, introducing yourself. If there's nothing like shaking someone's hand, introduce yourself, build that relationship. Your business is going to be different than my business, but the goal isn't to get work tomorrow. The goal is to make sure they know exactly who you are. So when they need you, they will call you. Or maybe even better, what's happened to us in the past, because we're constantly following up, you reach out and they're like, I was just thinking about you. Or they're like, I forgot what your name is, but luckily you called me. So just to understand, guys, that right there isn't luck. We're doing our follow-up and doing a constant follow-up with old clients. And they're like, oh, I was just thinking about you guys, but I don't remember your number or I don't remember what your company's name. I was just thinking about calling someone else. But because we followed up with them, they're now not reaching out to someone else. And that's not luck. But I want to invite you guys to join our Facebook group, Building Better Contractor Businesses. This Facebook group is where you can share with the struggles. Get real, y'all. Being a contractor, being a business owner, being in sales, whatever you do, that isn't easy. So I'd love to, once you join the Facebook group, I'd love for you to go in there and comment. Who are you currently going to target and what are you going to do consistently? It's not about doing it once, but it's about doing it forever. So if your business has slowed down, don't panic. Take a hard look at your standards. Look at your follow-ups. Look at your relationships. For us, it was just getting back on track, not us wanting to get back into a new marketing strategy, but us going back to our basics. And then honestly, That was probably the most important lesson I could have ever learned in 2026. Until next time, let's continue building a better contractor business.
If you believe that this episode brought you real clarity, be sure to share it with another contractor who also needs it. And if you want to keep this conversation going, be sure to join our community of contractors inside Building Better Contractor Businesses Facebook group. This is a community where we talk through the real problems that you are having in your business. The link will be found in our show notes. And remember, we are not just completing projects. We are building better contractor businesses. I will see you next time.